Honey, long time no see, although Xiao Yan wanted to say it out loud. With Queen Medusa's temperament, she might be embarrassed if she said it out in the light of the hall. Feeling the slightly stiff, hot and plump body in his arms, Xiao Yan had no intention of letting go, but unceremoniously enjoyed the comfort of being as gentle as jade. After all, this is his wife. No matter in the past or present life, Xiao Yan regards Queen Medusa as his wife and strives to develop based on it. Under the slightly surprised but half-smiling looks of the people closest to Xiao Yan, even though Queen Medusa was ruthless and killed without batting an eye, she was a little shy because of the relationship between the snake people and the fact that Xiao Yan asked Queen Medusa to temporarily act as the leader of the Yan alliance before leaving. She therefore stayed here. In addition, the Xiao family also moved here. Because of Xiao Yan's relationship, after going back and forth, the two parties became more familiar with each other. Now in front of them, being held directly in the arms of this little guy, Xiao Yan really made Queen Medusa a little worried. She pretended to be fierce and whispered, "Xiao Yan, you little guy, if you are still dishonest, don't blame me for being rude." After this period of relaxation, Xiao Yan summoned the top leaders of the Yan League and immediately explained some of his next plans. Although the development of the Yan League during this period has been very fierce, both in terms of combat power and power status, it has increased a lot. Not only the Jiama Empire, but also the surrounding huge empires also have a lot of influence. In the northwest, this desolate land in the region can be regarded as a force that can be spoken of, but in Xiao Yan's opinion, it is still a bit short and not enough. Your Majesty, this is not a trip. I miss you so much, so I am a little excited. If that's the case, why don't you let me be the pioneer and lead people to the Black Corner territory? As early as in the early years, when the two of them got along in Misty Valley, the little medical fairy had a lot of affection for Xiao Yan. When she came to the Izumo Empire alone, these affections were buried deep in her heart and had turned into a kind of beautiful yearning was born. When Xiao Yan appeared when the little medical fairy was in a desperate situation and crushed the difficulties and obstacles in front of her with a crushing force, the little medical fairy had already felt a desire for Xiao Yan in her heart. A different kind of emotion, whether it was the Misty Valley or the Izumo Empire, the two of them were already very close to each other. Not only did they spend time together day and night, but they also ate and lived together. The little medical fairy thought that Xiao Yan also had some interest in her. However, these fantasies and expectations were shattered a lot when they saw that Xiao Yan would rather lick his face to take advantage of Queen Medusa. Looking at the scene in the distance, the little medical fairy could feel a sour feeling quietly emerged in my heart. The little medical fairy murmured to herself, and after a moment, she forced herself to comfort herself. It seems good to be friends now. There's no need to pursue so much, right? After knowing Xiao Yan's current identity, the little medical fairy was a little shocked at first, but after thinking about the strength Xiao Yan showed in front of her, she understood. Perhaps Xiao Yan just regards me as a good friend. From the perspective of outsiders, I am afraid that Xiao Yan is a bit shameless. Even Queen Medusa has such a feeling in her heart. However, for Xiao Yan, she does not feel this way because Queen Medusa is indeed herself. The wife in the previous life was also a wife, and Xiao Yan would also pursue her in this life. In the center of the hall, Xiao Yan spread out a large map in his hand, circle dots, and began to describe the various advantages and disadvantages. Many top leaders of the Yan League were also listening here and thinking about the next plan. She doesn't want to break the window paper. If she breaks it, I'm afraid the relationship between the two of them will be a lot awkward. In the worst case, they may not even be friends anymore. A slightly cold voice came, and everyone looked and immediately understood that the person who spoke was none other than Xiao Li, Xiao Yan's second brother, and now the representative of the Xiao family. Although the development of Yanmeng is rapid, it cannot be limited to one place. The Black Corner region has a vast territory and rich resources, so it is an excellent place for development. There are thousands of knots in a girl's heart, like the sadness of separation, which keeps cutting and getting confused. The autumn wind is bleak, and the young man did not know the feeling of sadness, so he fell in love with the upper floors and forced himself to talk about sadness in order to compose new poems. Now that he knows the feeling of sadness, he wants to stop talking, but he says that the cold weather is such an autumn. Xiao Yan, who had not returned to the Jiama Empire for a long time, completely relaxed and took a good rest for 3 days. During this period, Xiao Yan also took the little medical ferry around the Jiama Empire. By the way, he also told her some things about the Yan League. Today's Yanmeng is already broken at the touch of a real strong man. Xiao Yan's expectations for the Yanmeng are not just that simple. He hopes that the Yanmeng will also help him in his final decisive battle. I returned from the Black Corner territory. Apart from Canaan College, the largest force outside of Canaan College, the demonic Flame Valley, has been destroyed by me. In addition, there are other existences, large and small, that I have also purged. What's more, I am a graduate of Canaan College. I have good relationships with the college's senior management and many students. I can borrow some help from them. But after getting along with each other for this period of time, the attitude of the little medical fairy towards Xiao Yan has changed significantly, but Xiao Yan is a little unable to express it. He has become a lot more mature after 2 lifetimes, and he can naturally see that the little medical fairy what I think in my heart, but I still need to figure this out myself. Some people are happy, while others are sad. While Xiao Yan and Queen Medusa were still making love in a playful manner, behind them, the little medical fairy wearing a plain white dress and a veil felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. Faced with the threat of Queen Medusa, Xiao Yan did not let go immediately, but hugged him tighter. With a bit of a rogue, Xiao Yan smiled and said, "Today's Queen Medusa has an unconcealable blush on her pretty face. She feels ashamed and annoyed, and has an indescribable emotion. She never thought that she would be raped again and again." Xiao Yan took advantage. Xiaoli has an out-of-the-box temperament and is good at hard work. Places such as the Black Corner domain are also suitable for his development. However, his strength is now only at the level of a 3-star Douling, which is a bit dangerous. "That's it, Mr. Hai. Please come with my second brother." Heibadong, who has now reached the peak of 9-star Do Huang, heard this and nodded slightly, leaned on the chair, and said with a smile, "In that case, I'll take a trip." Because of the good relationship between Xiao Yan and Heibadong, the Miter family and the Xiao family have become much closer, but on matters decided by the Yan Alliance, it can be said that the two are almost allies on the same side. With Heibadong's protection, Xiao Yan believes that with Xiao Li's talent, he can carve out a world in the Black Angle region. Soon, the candidates to go to the Black Corner region to expand the Yan Alliance's power were already listed, with Xiao Li and Heibadong as the main ones, followed by the 2 Do Wang elders of the Xiao family, and the rest were sent by each force again. Named Do Ling, they formed a team with good strength. 1 Do Huang, 2 Do Kings, and close to 10 Do Ling experts. This lineup is enough to be on the black list and become a powerful force even in the Black Angle domain. After confirming the matter, Xiao Yan once again issued some suggestions. After discussing with the senior leaders of Yan League, he decided on the next few plans and policies and then announced the adjournment of the meeting. Just after the meeting ended, Yanmeng was told to start operations again and began to implement all the plans discussed at the meeting. It seemed happy for a while. Not long after, even Xiaoli, Heibadong, and others said goodbye. They rode a huge flying magic beast and left the Gama Empire. They traveled day and night along the eastern border towards the Black Angle region. Hurried over. After arranging all these things, Xiao Yan did not leave immediately to die. In addition, Xiao Yan also took the little medical ferry back to the Misty Valley for a tour, which made the latter sigh with emotion about what happened in Qingshan town. Nowadays, the entire Yan League is monolithic. Except for Xiao Yan, everyone else who wants to use resources must pass the review of contribution points and many high-level officials before they can issue it. This can be regarded as a disguised form of incentives and restrictions. Apart from playing with the 2 girls, Xiao Yan was not really idle. Instead, he used a lot of resources on his phone and began to refine elixirs for the Xiao family. After all, compared to other high-level forces in the Yan League, the Xiao family, the foundation of the family, is too weak, but the elixir resources can greatly enhance the family's strength. Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye, a week passed by, and soon it was the day Xiao Yan had set for himself to leave the Jiama Empire. Although this place is nice, it is the base camp built by Xiao Yan himself, which makes him feel relaxed in his heart. However, the Jiama Empire is a small place after all. The resources here are limited, and it is impossible for Xiao Yan to get stable and sufficient promotion. If he wants to quickly improve his strength, he must go to a wider world. So Xiao Yan's next goal is to go to Zhongzhou, which is the center of the Dou Qi continent, where geniuses and strong men emerge in large numbers. Not only that, no matter how strong the energy of the world is, or the number of natural and earthly treasures, are far beyond this barren area of the northwest continent. However, compared to his previous life, Xiao Yan did not intend to let his wife stay alone in the northwest continent and suffer. He planned to take Queen Medusa to Zhongzhou to travel and improve together. Even though the road that Xiao Yan will take next may be full of thorns and dangers, Xiao Yan, a second-generation man, believes that no matter what level of difficulty he encounters, he can overcome it. So, you want me to leave the Jiama Empire and go to Zhongzhou with you? Instead, he shared many of the skills and resources from the previous robberies of Demon Flame Valley and 10,000 Scorpion Sect, and added most of them to the Yanming's treasure house, while the other half was placed in the Xiao family's treasure pavilion. Xiao Yan stayed in the Jiama Empire for another full week. Although he had the idea of combining work and rest, and taking a rest, more importantly, he wanted to take advantage of this time to connect with Queen Medusa, did I end the last life. Xiao Yan relied on the sky-swallowing python's good impression of him, plus a series of ridiculous things that happened when he swallowed the fallen heart flame, and then he accidentally bumped into Queen Medusa. Although the relationship between the two parties was finally clear. But now that I have a new life, it is a bit difficult to deal with it. Fortunately, he was very clear about Queen Medusa's likes and dislikes. In the past week, although the relationship between the two parties had not made much progress, at least the other party would not resist going shopping with Xiao Yan. Well, as long as you promise to come with me, I swear, I will find a way to find the 9-color raw stone for you. You should also know what this thing represents, right? The 9-color raw stone can help the sky-swallowing python to advance its bloodline to the level of the legendary beast of heaven and earth, the leek sky-swallowing python, which is quite precious. You actually know about this. After a pause, looking at Queen Medusa, who seemed to want to turn around and leave, Xiao Yan also touched his nose, threw out the trump card he had prepared, and said softly. Queen Medusa's voice rose slightly, with a slight surprise on her expression. Even the elders of the snake people didn't know the secrets. Even she herself, after awakening the bloodline of the colorful sky-swallowing python, inherited the memory, just found out about this. How have you considered it? The colorful rough stone is a strange ore that may be born when the 7-colored sky-swallowing python falls. It has an effect on improving the bloodline of the snake clan. When hundreds or so of the 7-colored sky-swallowing pythons, their bodies all fall together in one place. When they are together, it is possible for 8-color or even 9-color rough stones to be born. It's nothing, it's just that the current situation in the Yen League has stabilized. There will be no danger for a long time. There is no need for you to stay and sit here. Xiao Yan shrugged and replied with a slight chuckle. Road. After all, today's Xiao family has just risen. Compared with high-level fighting skills, it lacks the middle part. You must know that when Xiao Yan left the family for the first time, the Xiao family's most advanced skills, the fighting skills, are only at the lower level of Xian level, and they have been preserved after many inheritances. Queen Medusa's beautiful cheeks have raised eyebrows, filled with an inexplicable and wonderful expression. Not only that, her enchanting body wrapped in luxurious purple clothes also exudes a different kind of charm. Between the clusters, it is enough for a man with weak concentration to lose his mind. Xiao Yan, what on earth do you want to do? Xiao Yan looked at Queen Medusa with a bit of a smile. He knew that such strange objects were as attractive to the latter as the poison body of disaster was to poison. Queen Medusa will definitely agree. If what you say is true, then why not let me go with you? Sure enough, After a while, Queen Medusa nodded slightly and agreed. She believed that Xiao Yan would not lie to her for no reason. Xiao Yan, if you want to go to Zhongzhou, if you don't mind it, please. Take me with you. The little medical fairy on the side tightly grasped the corner of his clothes and looked at Xiao Yan with some longing. Now the little medical fairy's dependence on Xiao Yan has reached an extreme, and this only friend wants to wherever he goes. The little medical fairy will choose to follow him without hesitation. Okay. Xiao Yan is naturally obedient to the little medical fairy's request. Apart from Queen Medusa, the little medical fairy's poisonous body is also a thorn stuck in Xiao Yan's heart. Now he has collected 3 different kinds of strange fires, as well as Bodhi's incarnation saliva, except for the demon core of the 7th level sky poison scorpion dragon beast. All the materials required for the poison pill method that can contain the calamity poison body have been gathered, just enough to be solved together. The perfect disaster poison body is completely controlled by itself, and its potential is also immeasurable. Queen Medusa, on the other hand, felt a little uncomfortable with the little medical fairy coming with her. She snorted coldly and stood there calmly. Although the little medical fairy was far inferior to Queen Medusa in terms of strength, but at this time he did not relax. Instead, he quietly took a small step to his side, getting a little closer to Xiao Yan. Shaking his head with a bit of self-mockery, Xiao Yan landed with both sides and soon followed the flow of people into the city. Then Xiao Yan took the lead and led the 2 people around the city, heading straight to the location of the Luo family. After directly showing the aura of the Dozone level, the entire Luo family was alerted, and they exchanged words with the old man of the Luo family. After that, Xiao Yan and the other 2 people directly received permission to enter the space wormhole. Let me see, this place should be not far from Tianbei City. We can go there first. Xiao Yan took the map out of Neji, held it on his finger, looked at it, and then said with a little helplessness, "Where is this? Shouldn't we be in the city?" Queen Medusa, on the other side, did not express her opinion on the matter, but after scanning the surrounding environment, she frowned slightly, with a slightly confused look on her beautiful face, and quietly said, "In this way, the 3 of them started to set off towards Zhongzhou, but the distance between the northwest region of Dou Qi continent and Zhongzhou is more than a few 100,000 miles. If it were a regular flight, the time it would take would probably be calculated in years, so the first stop for the 3 of them was to go to the Black Corner domain, where they transited and spent most of the day rushing towards Tianya City. Beside him, there was a hot and voluptuous figure, wrapped in a luxurious purple dress. On the other side, there was a figure in a white dress. Although the figure was not as hot as the previous one, she had a beautiful figure. The slender waist is held by a light green ribbon, which is quite eye-catching. Ahem, since we have nothing to prepare, let's go. Looking at this scene, I still feel a little nostalgic. Xiao Yan, who clearly felt that something was not right in the atmosphere, also coughed dryly. As if he didn't notice it, he immediately made a suggestion, then grabbed the little medical fairy, flew high into the sky, and soon transformed into a small black, appeared on the ground, and Queen Medusa curled her lips and stomped her feet. Immediately, dense crack marks appeared on the ground like a spider web. Then she turned into a colorful stream of light and left towards the 2 of them. Chased in the direction, Tianya City is located in a mountain range called Tianqing, thousands of miles away from the Black Corner region. As the only city within 1,000 miles that has a space wormhole leading to Zhongzhou, Tianya City is located within this 1,000 miles. The level of prosperity inside is second to none. The wormhole in this space was extremely boring, but fortunately, none of the 3 of them were impatient, and they all used their practice to get rid of it. Riding on the spaceship, the 3 of them stayed in the pitch-black passage wrapped in a pale silver space stream for more than half a month, and then they escaped from the space wormhole from a bright light. Slowly exhaling a breath of turbid air, Xiao Yan said helplessly. Although he had experienced it in his previous life, he still felt that riding a space wormhole was quite boring. If his current strength was not insufficient to reach Zhongzhou quickly, otherwise, Xiao Yan would never choose to take the space wormhole. In the previous life, Xiao Yan took the little medical ferry and Zi Yan on the same space wormhole, but at the last moment. They were unlucky enough to encounter a space storm. Under that huge pressure, was forced to be separated from the two girls. Not only that, he was also seriously injured. If he hadn't been lucky enough to be saved by Han Yu's sister Han Shui, he might have been fed to the monsters in the barren mountains, and later on, he also assisted the Han family, where the two sisters Han Yu and Han Shui lived, against the Hong family in Tiande City. As a result, he provoked Fenglei Pavilion and began his forced escape career, this time, although they did not encounter a space storm, the location where the three of them were randomly transported by the space wormhole was not far from Tianbei City, which made Xiao Yan feel a little surprised. This life is not like the last one. The space wormhole is damaged and needs repair. You can enter it directly. Xiao Yan is also aware of the changes. In this life, his development speed is extremely fast, which has increased by 3 years. Time. Naturally, you'll not encounter the embarrassment you originally encountered. The 3 streams of light crossed the Great Black Plains from high altitude and plunged into the mountains. After flying along the continuous mountains for a long distance, they turned around a mountaintop and leaned on the edge of the mountains, as if they were crawling on the ground. The giant beast-like city on the earth caught the eyes of the 3 of them. Looking down, the intricate roads were full of human figures. Not only that, there were still many people in the low altitude below. The flying monsters stayed there, arranged in an unusually neat manner. A light silver stream of light flashed, and on a dilapidated and almost broken stone platform in the barren mountains and wilderness, 3 figures suddenly appeared out of thin air. One of them was wearing a black robe, with a delicate face, fair skin, and a seemingly slim figure. Thin, but if you look carefully, you can detect the explosive power contained in it. At the same time, Xiao Yan also felt a bit uncertain about the world. Phew, I finally came out of this wormhole in space. It's really depressing. It's true that things in the world are unpredictable, but once it comes, we'll take care of it. Quietly complaining in his heart, after Xiao Yan identified the direction, he took the 2 women and walked towards the direction of Tianbei City. Tianbei City is a relatively large city in the northern region of Zhongzhou. In terms of scale, it is even much larger than the imperial capital of the Gama Empire. Perhaps because of the proper planning, the whole city gives people a majestic feeling. The endless flow of people on the spacious streets reveals the huge popularity of the city. Following the crowd, Xiao Yan and the other 3 entered the city, and the sky was already darkening. On the other hand, there are lights everywhere in the city, but it doesn't seem to have that quiet feeling at night. It's already this time. Why don't we find a place to rest for the night and make plans for tomorrow? In that case, come with me over there. I'm fairly familiar with Tianbei City. In the last life, Xiao Yan almost formed a relationship with the Hong family because he helped the Han family. Hong Chun, Hong Li and his son, and even Hong Tianxiao, the ancestor of the Hong family, all acted against Xiao Yan and were brutally attacked by Xiao Yan. Taking action to fight back, when he thought of this, a cold light shone in the depths of Xiao Yan's eyes. With Hong Li's current level of cultivation, if he had the intention, all movements within 3,000 meters, let alone 3,000 meters, would not be able to escape his ears and eyes. But now, someone can actually come within 3 meters of him. Inside, suddenly, Hong Li, who was thinking about something, felt a chill and a creepy feeling in his heart. Subconsciously, he sat up and looked back. This sight didn't matter, but it made Hong Li. Li Zhen's courage was almost frightened. Behind him, I don't know when, there was a figure in black robes. His face was covered and his breath could not be observed, but he was only 3 meters away. From Hong Li, it's just that Xiao Yan at that time was 3 years later than he is now, so the streets and shops in the city were not exactly the same as what Xiao Yan remembered, which also gave him a strange sense of familiarity. He is not a generous person. In the last life, the Hong family almost shut Xiao Yan into despair. Now in his new life, Xiao Yan does not intend to let go of the Hong family. Therefore, tonight, he has something to do. After booking 3 Tianzi rooms in the most luxurious hotel in Tiande City and settling the two girls, Xiao Yan quietly put on the dark cloak, quietly left the hotel, and followed the direction in his memory. People kept jumping up and down in the streets and alleys, approaching in the direction of the Hong family. He did not tell the little medical fairy and Queen Medusa about these things. After all, the matter of eradicating the roots had nothing to do with them. Moreover, there was an old man named Hong Tianxiao in the Hong family. Xiao Yan did not want the two girls to be injured or implicated. This time, Xiao Yan is not going to be merciful and play games with right and wrong. He is going to uproot the Hong family resolutely and kill all those who had vengeance in the previous life. Xiao Yan looked at the two women with a bit of a smile and asked, "This is also true. Although they are all cultivators who can endure in the space wormhole on that small spaceship, the three of them after spending more than half a month, I was extremely tired. Now that I have arrived at my destination and in the city, it is not in vain to have a good rest. Although he seems to be unattractive, if you look closely, you can find that every move of the middle-aged man contains strength, and the aura in his body is also suppressed. He is at the peak of a fighting emperor. No, it can even be said to be a half-step fighting zone level. Even in Tiande City, where there are many powerful people, a being of this level is a top master. There are only one person who can be stronger than him in the entire Tianbei city. The little medical fairy covered her mouth and chuckled, looking at Xiao Yan with a somewhat inexplicable meaning. Queen Medusa on the side turned her head indifferently, but still nodded slightly and did not speak. "Who? Come out." Xiao Yan raised his hand and said with a faint smile. Then he took his two daughters and walked on the wide streets of Tiande City with ease. Looking at the strange but somewhat familiar neighbors, Xiao Yan, there was also some emotion. Soon, taking advantage of the darkness, Xiao Yan hid his presence and quietly sneaked into the huge manor of the Hong family. There were countless courtyards and a huge square, covering an area as big as a street. Sensing the atmosphere inside the Hong family, Xiao Yan moved quietly and quickly bypassed the light and dark protections, avoided all the patrolling guards, and easily sneaked into the Hong family hall. The hall is quite empty. There is a middle-aged man sitting on the main seat. He is leaning on the seat with his chin supported by one hand. His expression is slightly confused, and he is tapping his knuckles continuously. On the armrest, he seemed to be thinking about something. After turning a corner and passing by an extremely luxurious door, Xiao Yan felt a little emotional when he looked at the big words Han Mansion on it. Although Tiande City has many forces, the two most powerful forces are the Han family located in the south of Tianbei City and the Hong family occupying the north of Tiande City. These two families are like the two masters of this city, dividing the city into two distinct halves. Although there are many other small forces, compared to these two major families, they can only be regarded as small karami and can only survive in the cracks. Although the Han family and the Hong family are still on equal terms now and even outdo each other, Xiao Yan knows very well that in 3 years, this situation will be reversed, and even the Han family will suffer severely because of this. Soon after, Hong Chen, the son of the head of the Hong family, will be admitted to the north Pavilion of Fenglei Pavilion because of his talent and become a direct disciple. Under the pressure of the behemoth Fenglei Pavilion, the Han family did not have much ability to resist. In his last life, he was seriously injured due to a space storm. With the help of Han Shui of the Han family, he came to Tianbei City in a carriage and stayed here for less than half a month. Therefore, compared to here, he was fairly familiar with it. Okay, it just so happens that I want to take a shower too. And he is the current head of the Hong family, Hong Li. Seeing the behavior of the two girls, Xiao Yan also scratched his head. After more than half a month of getting along, the atmosphere between Queen Medusa and the little medical fairy was no longer so awkward. Perhaps it was because Xiao Yan was in the middle. For the sake of the regulator, what level is this, and what level of cultivation is the person coming? For a moment, all kinds of thoughts flashed through his mind, making Hong Li's mind tense to the extreme. The other party sneaked into Hong's house quietly late at night. It was obvious that he came with bad intentions. He immediately shouted in a low voice, full of vigilance, "Sir, who are you? Why did you break into my Hong house at night? Those who take your lives.